I look like one of those dogs that have got wrinkled skin and
The
Sharpei.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Because I just woke up. I just woke up and I've got just, like this is bed face right now. Bed face on Thursday, February 29th, 2024. A date we do not hear every year.
Oh, cool.
Every 4 years. But there's a whole lot of things behind the whole leap thing, and that's what I wanted to share today. But we don't have much time today, and so I may have to break this up into two parts, etc. Also, I'm a little bit ornery, a little bit, and I suppose one shouldn't be, right? Because this is TV, and so we must be fake. Be authentic, but not actually real with it. Be authentic, but not honest. So here you go. Here I am. So the leap year is actually because of the Gregorian calendar, right? Now we know that. Do people know what the Gregorian calendar is? Do people know what Gregorian is? Do you don't?
No.
Oh, it's the Gregory, the Pope.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay, cool.
So the guy who changed it, because he was the head of the Catholic Church at the time, when the Catholic Church had power back then, because of course they don't have that power now.
That's what it seems.
So Gregory, Pope Gregory. So this is 1500s, 1530. I have to come back in part two with actual facts. This is now stuff off my memory. I'm taking a leap of faith here, a leap into into my mind. So before that, it was the Julian calendar because of Julius Caesar. And Caesar is not the surname, Caesar is the title. So there's Octavius Caesar, Augustus, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So Julius, right, is the most famous of the Caesars. So before Julius, now the other question we need to actually ask is, why does the world follow a Roman Catholic calendar? Yeah, that's considering that, well, the solar Hijri calendar is actually the most precise, and that is Iranian.
Oh, wow.
Oh, actually, it's Persian. So there's two. There's two. This is what I'm saying. I have to come back with facts. So the Persian, which is Iranian, right?
Yeah.
Calendar is the solar Hijri calendar, and it's considered the most accurate calendar of all, but it's not utilized. Now, interestingly, there are a few countries, and I can't remember the others, because even though India, Hinduism, especially, and I think Dravidian ways, they have their own calendars too. And the Chinese calendar, of course, which is lunisolar. The Hindu calendar is lunar calendar. The Chinese calendar is lunisolar, but they only use it for their auspicious things. Everyone goes by the Gregorian calendar because I guess it aligns more with the equinoxes, but I think it was just easier to go with what the colonizers wanted instead of getting blown up by them. I don't quite understand why even China.
Yeah, sure. So in China, they follow
The Gregorian calendar.
calendar.
This calendar. It's a Roman Catholic calendar. Prior to that, it was Julius's calendar, and I'll get to a few interesting things. And before that, it was just a Roman calendar, and that's when it had only 10 months, which is why, and I have explained to you, which is why the months of like September, October, November, December, which is 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah, right.
are actually 9, 10, 11, 12, because there were only 10 months in the calendar and people would just throw on extra days.
Yeah.
It was chaotic. I don't know why the Roman political system was chaotic. So if a politician felt like an extra day, they'd just chuck it in somewhere, or an extra month just to suit their purposes. So nothing was lining up. No one could arrange times, etc., to do things. So then I think, I don't know if it was Julius who actually, this is why I should have woken up earlier and, blah, 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 but there you go. I'm testing my mind here. Test my mind.
That's it.
I mean, I had done some brushing up yesterday, but I was going to actually talk, quote facts from other people. Because we're getting to why the leap year is needed. So that's when January and February were added. Now these are named after, I can't remember, because I'm pretty sure Juno, like it's Roman god, and I don't know where February came from, but February was originally after December. Roman calendar, pre-Julius times.
No way.
Yeah.
So the first month was March.
Yes.
Right.
By the way, speaking of first month, the word calendar comes from the Latin calens, which means the first of the month, the start of the month, and then it leached into Latin, etc., etc. In fact, Old English and then Modern English calendar, and of course, moon and month. That's because everything went by the moon. So even though we count our days by the solar, the moon is what puts the month together. Moon, month, right? So I think Julius is the one who changed it, put February into like between January and March. Now, why does February only have 28 days? Gosh, that is complicated. It is so complicated. The whole calendar system of anything is so complicated. And at the end of it, dear viewers, all we are left with is, damn, time really is man-made. And when I say man, I do mean man. If the women were left to organize it, I tell you, it would be a little bit more organized. We'd have, I'm serious though. But, okay, it is absolutely to do with the timing of orbit, right? So we know pattern keepers have kept watch on all of these things. These pattern keepers are from the ancients because, okay, February was taken, Julius Caesar took February from the Egyptians and how they were counting their days. Now, I was telling you something interesting about some countries, some cultures that don't actually adhere to the Gregorian calendar. Ethiopia is one of them. Ethiopia has 13 months.
Even today?
Even today.
How? Because that's something I've talked about. But
oh, wow.
No, 13 months. Why?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
It makes so much sense.
It's yes, it does, but it's got to time up with the equinoxes, etc., etc. Oh gosh, this is where I do need my facts. So where was I saying? So there's some months that some countries that have they don't stick to the Gregorian calendar. Maybe that's a reason why Ethiopia, especially, is really swept under, considering it used to be one of the world's wealthiest countries. Of course, the African continent used to be one of the world's, used to have the world's richest countries. But now, well, they're just being mined for those riches, really. So, okay, going back to, now this is a bit of a longer thing. Again, I'm really annoyed at myself for not having the information at my fingertips. But as I said, I'm testing my mind here, so let's go with this. Now, where was I? So why was a leap year added? Why was a leap year needed? Now, contrary to popular belief, it is not set in stone. And it is only, so the years that are, or is it the years that are divisible by 4 are the ones that get the leap year. And by the way, there's also a leap day. And leap seconds. This is crazy. I really need to not be talking about this without facts.
Yeah, sure. Because
now my mind is like, oh my God, and I remember this and this and this and this. And why do we need this? And also, it's the old calendar. So Julius's calendar, every 126 days needed a leap day. It had, because of what's called seasonal drift. Because of the way, because things, God. Clearly, this is not a science program, and I'm sorry about that. But we should talk maybe about leaps of faith instead. So I'm taking a leap of faith with my brain right now. has just woken up because it's gotta get out, do the daily egg. Why are we doing it? Because, well, Duane has to, do other things, and so we have to do the daily egg together. That's why we're here. But I right now can't actually access all the information I need, which is a bit irritating, and I'm very sorry about that because I have some interesting facts. So maybe you'll have to join me later or some other thing. I don't know. What can we talk about today then?
Well, it's a scorcher.
It's a scorcher. That's right. Oh my gosh.
The extra day is a.
Oh wow! It is a stunning day, but we're in Australia, mate, and it's summer, and this is the last day of the calendrical summer. Autumn tomorrow, which would have been autumn today, except for the fact that it's a leap year. What is this thing in my face? So yeah, it's going to be about 40 degrees today, which is tough when you're in the concrete jungle, because it's 40 plus the heat reflected off the. Is it concrete or cement that I'm talking about?
Concrete. Cement, bitumen, the works.
Everything.
Bricks.
Glass, so all that heat.
Cars, metal, rubber.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Everything's reflected off that. So this is why the rise of skin cancer. I swear. And I think people like to blame exposure to the sun. And on the other side, exposure to the sun is what you need. First thing in the morning, people really need to actually, before we hit the false light of our screens, you need to have the light that brings, nurture, vitamin D. I'm also a bit irritated about looking at a screen first thing in the morning. I don't.
Yeah, right.
I have been making a habit of having about an hour before. I don't want to see a screen. You showed me a screen, and I got instantly like you're showing me a screen for good reason, but I'm someone who needs my routine. Otherwise, I very easily, and that's why it's so easy to get into a bad habit. The bad habits are easy for everyone to adopt.
Yeah.
It's much harder to do things that are good for you. Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Why is it so easy for people to slip into just, pick up your phone and I really don't want to do that anymore. I really see the difference in waking up slowly in how you have sort of done, waking up slowly. And by slowly, I mean let your body wake up, but let your mind just ease into your body. Let your body's brain wake up first, and then where you can, and even if the sun isn't out, that light is still there. The sun is still there, so the light is still reaching us. It's just that the clouds, etc., the cloud, the Earth stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just going all over the place because I can't quite get all the information I need.
You literally just woke up.
Literally. I hate the usage of the word literally now, where it is literally misused. But I did actually just whatever, wake up. But that's no excuse. However, it is important to actually ease into your mind, and look, who's got the time for that? Because everybody needs to sleep. And as we've talked about, I feel, and we talk about this, that people utilize food and sleep in the wrong ways. We use it to fuel, to pre-fuel, rather than to replenish. And because we're all so stressed, and I have to say, I too am stressed because you get to a point like I'm having a crisis of faith. I always talk about leaps of faith, right? But I'm having a crisis of faith in myself. Like, what is the point? What is the point of this? I can't hustle. I can't promote myself. I can't say, hey, you should come and watch me. I feel that people need to organically, or other people need to showcase that. But no, because in the age of social media, which social media is everybody's publicist, By the way, I do know what I'm talking about in terms of that because I am a publicist. I'm also someone who worked through integrity. Yesterday, Duane and I talked about integrity. As a publicist, I can't compromise my integrity, and unfortunately, that costs me jobs, costs me projects, costs me work, costs me clients because I would like clients who have nothing to hide. I like representing people who have got nothing to hide. And I'm not talking about privacy, I'm talking about transparency. Transparency, whether it be a person, product, organization, event, etc. Let's talk about the truth of things because the truth is so much more beautiful. And also, what is with this need for authenticity while we're still faking it? Authenticity, it's so fake. People talk about authenticity whilst hiding behind filters, while utilizing trending audio. Anyway, going back to my my crisis. It's not a crisis, I just woke up late and I'm feeling a bit churlish and I'm taking it out on... I'm not taking it out. Is this a bit too honest? Fuck, excuse me. But yesterday all of a sudden I thought, well, why am I doing this? You know, I get people sending me clips of things I say, yet I guess because it gets lost in the hours and hours and hours I talk. Oh, yeah, all these things that I'm accumulating, because throughout the week I accumulate things for One Take News. And I read this, this sounds just like churlish whinging now, doesn't it? Oh, it doesn't matter, whatever. About these TikTokers, these especially Euro-white girls. And basically OnlyFans with clothes on is what's happening on TikTok right now. It's people get gifts, right? And I don't, no, thank you. I'm old school. I want contracts. Thank you. If you're going to come to me with, money, I would like it to be a contract for us to have a streaming show. Nothing less than that will do. Because this is valuable stuff here. I'm valuable with the knowledge I have and the outlook, not just the knowledge, because I know people who accumulate as much information as I do. I say knowledge, but information, because the one thing about knowledge is that you can never have enough. And that's what intelligence is, knowing, whoops, there's just not enough time to know everything, so I'm just not intelligent enough. And so being not intelligent enough, but being curious and wanting to acquire information is intelligence. So I do know what sort of set me off on something, because I was accumulating news, darling. And there was this, so on TikTok, these TikTokers, and mind you, they're not actually making the money. TikTok is making the money because there was this really extensive investigation done. So they accumulate gifts. And of course, it's only Euro-white young women, girl women on, and they get gifts. And people get addicted to giving gifts by way of money. And as I said, no, thank you. Nothing less than a contract with a streaming service will do here. I'm old school. I don't want your gifts. But this is how people earn money, through these things. And people get addicted to that. So I got a little bit... And these streamers, these live TikTokers, they talk for hours because people just want them to talk. I think, wow, about what? About their shopping, about their unboxing gifts, and about their, what they did. And people are really looking for escapism. And this is why strip clubs existed, This is bars came, and dancing places. People need escapism, and social media. This is the social media style, because OnlyFans. I don't really know how to talk about that. One part of me is like, well, great. If there is a demand for it, the supply should be in the hand of the people. Should be in the hands of the people providing that demand. Except I think that nothing will change for women while this continues. And sure, there's guys on it, but for some reason, there doesn't seem to be that much of a stigma attached with guys. And like there's this Nick Kyrgios or whatever, the I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Kyrgios, the tennis player, Australian tennis player, who I do like. I'm a fan of because he's very, on the surface, he's like, doesn't care about being polished and nice and whatever and polite to, rude reporters and privileged people in the tennis world. But to people, he's lovely, and he does coaching, etc., for children who are less able, or he gives money to. Sure. So he's behind the scenes, because that's what's important. Because I personally know way too many people who on the surface are all, yep, hello, yes, we're very nice, and oh yes, they're so altruistic, and God this and God that, and MC Jesus, oh my God, drop it, shit like that. Yeah, and behind the scenes are the most heinous, vile, evil, toxic, narcissistic, sabotaging, lying people ever. Oh, I have personal experience with these people. So I like people like Nick. But okay, so he then came out and said, well, he's on OnlyFans, but no nudes, but I guess intimate things with his partner, etc. If people want to see it, then people might as well earn money from it, right? I still have, interestingly enough, someone said to me that you and I would do really well. However, our sensuality and our love is, well, it's for us. It's not just that, because on Instagram I'm quite happy to share photographs of us, etc. And that's because I think, well, for starters, people need to see more older people being passionately in love, not just that comfortable, oh yeah, back in our young days. Albeit you and I didn't we didn't meet until I was in my late 40s. But then because I had, thought that, anyway, whatever, that's another story. So, but it's still, we're together out of, a passionate best friend love. We're best friends who are lovers who happen to be married.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important to show that, and also show it just normal people, not like your celebrities, like, I don't know. And also brown people, and to give people some sort of look, it's not, you don't have to find love in your 20s. Perhaps find self-love in your 20s. Perhaps work on yourself instead of needing the validation of a partnership to prove that you're worth, something. I mean, I say that having been in relationships all throughout my 20s. Look, I'm really glad I didn't have children. And I think that is something you and I need to talk about, because every time a woman says that, apparently she gets maligned. And I can tell you now, at 53, absolutely happy I did not have children of my flesh. That didn't mean I didn't bring up children. I still know what it feels like to be a mother. I have a strong maternal instinct. I mothered 5 children for over 20 years, and their biological mother, well, she's fertile, but she's damn cold. She didn't want really anything to do with them until they were able to go partying with her, because she preferred to live in a privileged suburb in Sydney type thing. And she trots out the children for show, because she gave birth to 5 children. And as soon as they got a personality, it was like, don't want that now. Anyway, so, but, the father is someone who's a bit of mother hen, a bit more maternal than, there's a lot of males who have got that maternal instinct. I'm not going to say paternal, I'm going to say maternal, because they're the ones who need the child.
Yeah, sure.
They feel like this, and I know a lot of women, I don't know why I've gone into from leap to this, but I think I'm going to, I know a lot of women who have children for their partners. Some do it, there's a lot who actually sadly do it for ulterior motives, especially in the country that we were born in. Yeah. Sadly. In society, there's a lot of women who use their wombs as trade. Terrible thing to say, but I have talked a lot about misogyny in women, and this may sound like I am being a misogynist. No. I'm trying to break the misogyny that has contaminated and is corroding womanhood. But there's a lot of women also who have children knowing, well, their partners want to be parents. And there's no other way they're going to be parents other than having for the woman having the carrying the child in the womb, and that's fantastic. It's what a wonderful thing for a woman to do. That sacrifice a woman has to make if she doesn't want to. Albeit, I will say that a few women who did that, I do know that they found, wait a moment, we like this parenting malarkey, you know, and they fall in love with the child, etc. Right. And that's wonderful. They're not in love with the idea of pregnancy. There's a lot. There's this young woman in that I know that has been wanting to have children because, again, people who haven't got the parenting they need desperately want children so that they can parent them. But again, that becomes like, ooh, that is not about.
What are you doing it for?
Yeah, that's right. You didn't have the child for the child. You had the child for your child.
Yeah, right. Wow.
And that's, when the child is parenting the child. Ooh, wow, that's very, very interesting. Anyway, but okay. So one thing we're going to go back into the leap year stuff. Is this? There's this superstition around leap year that this is the year that women can propose to males,
Was it the day?
Yeah, the day of the leap year. And it's the superstition comes from a saint by the name of Saint Bridget, who had said to St. Patrick, and I don't know if St. Patrick, I'm saying St. Patrick in an Irish way.
Sure.
I don't know if it's Irish, but I think so, had said, well, come on, give us a special day that women can actually have autonomy and independence, etc. So that became, it's not a superstition, it actually did stem from a factual thing. But I do want to talk about the calendar, etc.
Imagine having a birthday on the leap year.
Well, leaplings, they're called.
Right.
So, yeah, an 80-year-old would be what? 20, yes, yeah. Sorry, what was I like, gosh. So, yeah, they're 20 years old. I actually do know someone very special. The Honourable Sadiq Koya, who was the leader of the Alliance Party and then National Federation Party, etc. And Fiji, political legend, and he was born on because my father, being his deputy in one of the parties, would put on a huge party for him at the leap year. So I don't know. Also, what happens in leap years are Olympics, right? Every 4 years, I'm sure it coincides.
Oh, is it leap year? I'm not sure. There's an excellent.
I could be wrong.
Let's find out.
I do need to cough. Excuse me a moment. Hydration is very important as well as light. First things first, the first thing we all really should be doing is reaching for a glass of water to rehydrate our cells that have been working to replenish all the output of the day before. So I'm going to actually come back with part 2 talking about leap year so I can talk facts with you. And
yeah, it is.
Duane won't be here unless I do it this afternoon, but I think I'd like to get it out. So I'll come back later with it because there's lots of facts. There's lots of, and I actually had started writing an article for our magazine, The Stylander. So I may also, I say may because But the calendar is very much malleable. It has been this thing that has been played with and, utilized, and all to match, as we said yesterday, the fact that the year doesn't have exactly 365 years. It has 365.2442 days.
I love that proceeding.
I had to look it up because yesterday I had said 365 days plus 6 hours, and you had said 0.25, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's the same thing, right? So exactly, it's 2442. Oh, cool. And I have of course read, not of course, but I have read the science things of, what am I saying here? how the actual planet is off its axis because of all the movement under the surface, all the tectonic plates, all the earthquakes that creates, and the movement of water, the magnetic pull of the water that is merely resting on the surface of this planet, and it's the gravity controls everything. Once we lose gravity, bye, all of us. Woo.
And later.
Maybe that's what that rapture thing was all about. The loss of gravity. There's this, I think it was in 2013, 2014, somewhere around there. There was 2012, 2013, gosh. That doesn't seem that long ago, but I suppose it's a decade. Where there was the rapture was going to happen, and good Christian people were going to float off into the air.
Yeah, right. Wow.
People actually believed that.
So loss of gravity.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe there was some sort of loss of gravity supposed to be happening. Maybe maybe what we do not know is that scientists have. I mean, if they've done that, the collider, right?
Yeah.
And that's to study dark matter, the Hadron Collider, all that.
New particles.
All that stuff, right?
It's an accelerator.
Is it feasible then, if we have the know-how, capacity, capability, and knowledge of doing something like that? Is it possible then that at the center of the Earth there is some sort of gravitational machine that helps the spin?
You mean like? I always thought maybe they could create another Big Bang and then everything start all over again.
No, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I maybe, having a crisis of faith and like, this is what the world is. People pay to listen to shit. Escapism. And I guess that you have said that to me when I've been having like, that, well, maybe the daily egg is intense, like an egg is, which brings me to the star of the show, the daily egg. And with that, my friends, I'm going to take this time to go, and this is the end of part 1, which has been full of way too much honesty and all that, but a few facts. So I hope some that are intriguing enough for you to come back and watch part 2. But otherwise, we're done for part 1, and Duane won't be here for part 2. But we'll see you together tomorrow. But hopefully, you'll see me part 2 later. And I've got to go eat my egg now. Thanks for being here. Bye.